So today I have for you some Nike boots that had kind of a weird release and didn't really get much in the way of attention. And of course, I'm talking about the relatively exclusive Wavelength pack, which of course I have here in the form of the Mercurial Superfly 7 Elite and the Phantom Vision 2 Elite, the only two models that were actually available in this particular colorway. So basically what happened is that the Wavelength pack was released exclusively for two players to wear, both of which play for Chelsea, Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount, who of course wear the Mercurials and the Phantom Visions. I should add that the Mercurial, while I have the Superfly here as an example, you can get this colorway as a Vapor 13 Elite as well, but this color is exclusive to these two lines and only the top end models. Now, the reason why these didn't get much in the way of attention or promotion on social media is because the only place where you could get them was from Nike directly. It was basically an exclusive for them, similar to like a Nike ID product for the most part, but for whatever reason, people didn't really pay attention to them, mainly because they didn't really get that much spotlight. And now, after Nike realized that maybe that wasn't the best way of doing things, retailers now have them and you can buy them from pretty much everywhere. Either way, the reason why I wanted to make a video on them is I thought it was a cool colorway, but I have to say in person, the details and look is actually way better than I was expecting. And honestly, there's some of the better colorways of both of these boots that we've seen so far. So we're gonna take a closer look at both of them in today's video. We'll also talk a little bit about tech specs and performance and basically cover everything that you need to know, including how they fit and feel on feet. So if you wanna learn more, please stick around, watch the entire review. And if you're interested in either of these two boots for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That's gonna take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes to pick these up below their normal retail prices. By the way, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, please support it with a like. It goes a long way. And if you are new here watching for the first time and don't want to miss out on new videos every single week on everything football boots, be sure to subscribe. Before we get into the boots though, let's talk extras. Obviously they're top end models, so they do come in the gray and black Nike box, but they also come with string bags. On top here I have the Phantom Vision bag, which you can see is in black and blue to match the color of the boots. Although I will say that the blue on the boots has this nice chrome effect. You don't get that same effect on the bag, so it looks a little bit off, if I'm being honest, compared to the boots. Nothing on the back, black strings. It gets a string bag rating of 3 out of 5.3. The bag that comes with the Mercurial, however, is pretty interesting because it actually has a defect, which I have to admit, unboxing and reviewing as many string bags as I have on this channel, I've never really seen this before, but you can see the bag, of course, is black with the blue Mercurial M logo. Again, kind of not the same color as the boots, but if you look really closely here, the little stitch that goes across the top, something got messed up here, and I'm sure it's very fixable. It's not like the string bag is unusable or anything like that, but if you paid $275 for them, I think that most people would probably be unhappy with something like this on the string bag. So for that reason, it gets a string bag rating of 11 out of 34. As for the colorway, in almost all the pictures that I saw, the boots pretty much just look like a basic black upper with a blue accent, which obviously looks nice, but it's pretty unextraordinary from Nike, but hopefully it comes through in this video. The black upper is super shiny and it's not really black. It has this kind of oil slick color changing effect to it, and also all of these little dots on the top Nike skin layer. This is basically like a Nike ID black option with that, I'm not sure what they call it on the website, iridescent, chromatic, something like that. It's not a wearable finish at all, but it just looks really cool. And you can see in the light, it really does shift quite a bit in terms of going from black and really having this very colorful effect to it, which is pretty cool. That accents extremely well with kind of like this matte chrome blue that you have in the Nike swoosh, as well as the Merc pinstripe branding here on the medial side. More of that blue on the back. And then a little detail that I thought was really cool, as you can see in kind of a matte finish, that little Nike swoosh on the toe is still there, but you can barely see it. I just like the fact that they included it anyways. And then on the bottom, you will find more of that finish in the middle of the split sole, and then a wearable finish, basically in just the form of this blue V that you have here running through the forefoot. As for the Vision, it features most of the same elements. The main element, of course, being that black polka dot base with the oil slick finish that, again, just looks really cool. It's obviously in the front part of the boot. The top lace cover is just exposed black Flyknit, and then moving to the heel, you're gonna find a combination of matte and glossy black finishes. The one thing I will say compared to the Mercurial is that the swoosh while it does have somewhat of a matte chrome effect, it's not as noticeable as the Mercs, but that's because it's made from a completely different material. Of course, all of your branding is in that accent color of blue, and then the sole plate is a wearable finish with this really good looking matte chrome finish. Reminds me a lot actually of the Flyknit Ultra for whatever reason, but in general, really cool looking. It is a bit of a shame though that this paint will chip away. Colorway aside, the Mercurial and the Visions are both great football boots, and I think that while they're marketed very different, which would lead most people to believe that the fit and feel is very different between these two boots, that is partially true, but at the same time, especially when you have them side by side, if you just look at the top-down shape of these two boots, it's pretty remarkable how similar the shape of the toe box, the width of the forefoot. Really the main difference here is going to be the volume of the boot, where there's a little bit of extra volume in the Phantom Vision versus the Mercurial. Granted, on feet they do end up fitting and feeling quite a bit different from each other, but they're both Flyknit uppers. They both have somewhat of a mid-cut design, being that this is the Superfly, and they both have what I would argue is a bladed stud pattern, although it's definitely more aggressive on the Mercurial. So in terms of like base core features, they are similar in a lot of ways, but ultimately the end result is two fairly different experiences. At this point, because I've covered it so many times, I don't really feel the need to go into great detail on how good the Mercurial is right now. This of course is the Superfly 7 Elite, which does give you the addition of this kind of mini mid-cut collar. It's just elasticated Flyknit. Is there ankle support associated to that? I guess there is if you want to believe it's there. Otherwise, it's just there for the sake of looks. And if you do play on artificial grass, which you probably shouldn't be doing with the FG stud pattern, it can help to keep the rubber pellets from getting inside of the boot. Aside from that, go for the Vapor if you prefer not having the collar. Go for the Superfly if you'd rather have it. It's that simple. The upper is Flyknit with their high tenacity yarn technology incorporated all within, which allows for a thin upper that's still soft, that's still flexible, but with the laces tied tight, there's a remarkable amount of structure while still maintaining good comfort. So the boots are arguably the most comfortable Mercurials Nike has ever made, but also some of the most responsive, which are typically two characteristics that don't go together. You will find an anatomically shaped sole plate base, which gives you this very connected sensation to the boot. It's kind of a new signature aspect of the Mercurial line, in my opinion. And then of course the FG stud pattern with the split sole. It's got a very responsive sensation in terms of the flex of the sole plate, and the bladed stud pattern, it's super aggressive. The studs are longer than the average FG stud pattern, and on the right pitch, there really isn't anything that can beat it in terms of outright traction. Where the Vision really separates itself from the Mercurial in terms of fit and feel is, I think, more of an emphasis on comfort rather than tightness. And again, that's not to say that the Mercurials aren't comfortable, but if you don't like a football boot that feels like it's really squeezing your feet, which is that signature Mercurial feel, then you'll probably prefer the fit and feel and general comfort of the Phantom Vision. Of course, it's a Flyknit upper with an internal quad fit system, which is basically where all of your structure is coming from. It makes for a much softer, more flexible sensation than what you'll find from the Mercurials, but arguably almost as responsive, which is very impressive. From a touch standpoint, it's definitely not as thin because you have an internal quad fit layer and then a Flyknit layer on top. So it's two layers of material, definitely a little bit more thickness, but overall, the boots still feel really thin and don't really have much of a padded sensation to them. But what is different in comparison to the Mercurial is the heavy texturing that you have across the entire upper, especially in this section right here, which does provide some additional grip on the ball. Definitely nowhere near what you'll get from the Predator right now though, with its rubber demon skin spikes, which is the comparison that a lot of people currently want to make. It does of course have a lace cover, which is there mostly for the sake of looks. The lacing system integral to having the proper fit. Like I said, comfort is quite good. And the sole plate and stud pattern, probably my least favorite from the Nike brand if I'm being honest, but still feels nice and solid underfoot, and the traction provided is still very aggressive and above average in general. And while neither of these boots are heavy, it is still worth comparing them in weight because there is a difference. So I'm going to weigh both of them for you in real time. Keep in mind they're both the same size, 9.5 US. We'll start off with the Superfly 7, and you can see that they weigh in at 7 ounces exactly. The the equivalent of 198 grams, which is very lightweight. One of the lighter options out there as far as top-end speed boots go. We'll throw on the Phantom Vision 2 Elite, and you can see that they weigh in at 8 ounces exactly, the equivalent of 226 grams. So they are basically 1 full ounce heavier than the Mercurials, which is definitely a noticeable amount of weight. But again, I don't think it's going to be the deciding factor between these two boots. And regardless of which one you go for, they both feel lightweight on feet. So because these have a lace cover and changing the laces is next to impossible, I have swapped the stock black laces on the Mercurial for some light blue reflective SR4U replacement laces, which of course accent really nicely with the blue bits on the boot and honestly make the kind of oil slick effect of the boot that much more noticeable. It's a great way of changing up the style of your boots in a very inexpensive way. If you're interested in some for yourself, the website to visit is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in some for yourself, be sure to go ahead and check that out. Now, despite the shape of these two boots looking very similar when you hold them side by side, on feet they do feel quite a bit different, where the Mercurial fits noticeably tighter, it wraps your foot a lot closer, it has almost this squeezing your foot sensation in comparison to the Vision, which definitely is lower volume than the first generation of this boot, and I think fits better overall. So in that regard, it is more similar to the Mercurial than it used to be, but it definitely has more flexibility to it. There's a little bit more give to the upper. Yes, the quad fit system with the laces tied tight provides nice structure, but it's at the same time not really feeling like it's stiff in any way at all. And that's not to say that the Mercurials are stiff, but comparatively, they definitely don't feel as flexible as the Phantom Vision. The anatomical sole plate is something that I also really notice when you have the two side by side. I like the feel of that on the Mercurial, and I wish it's something that Nike would roll out onto their other lines as well. But for right now, they're leaving it exclusive to this particular line. But as a whole, both boots are quite comfortable. They just have a little bit of a different feel. So personal preference is going to play a huge part in regards to which of these is going to be best for you. As far as width is concerned, obviously the Mercurial fits tighter, but both of these I think will fit most people as long as you don't have super wide feet. Definitely the Vision is wider out of these two though, I will definitely say that. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing both of these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you're looking to order either of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So I guess to answer the question that I'm sure some of you are wondering, which one would I pick between these two boots? And as much as I think the Mercurial is objectively better in a lot of ways, it's lighter, it offers more aggressive traction, and it's certainly more responsive. I don't think that these are points that anybody can really argue. There is a huge personal preference aspect to football boots, and for me, from a comfort and fit standpoint, I feel more comfortable playing in the Phantom Vision 2. It's just more along the lines of what I personally like the feel of. So really, I don't think there's any wrong choice between these two. As much as they have a lot of similarities, they are also very different in terms of fit and feel, and that for me should be the deciding factor for you. If you're a Mercurial guy, then I think there's a lot to like about the current Mercurial, but if you prefer something that is not quite as tight, maybe more focused around comfort and flexibility, you're definitely going to prefer the feel of the Phantom Vision. Anyways guys, that's it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in either of these two boots for yourself, including the Vapor variation in this colorway, first link down below, that's going to take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes to pick these up below their normal retail prices. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below and I'll definitely take a look at what you guys have to say and get an answer out to you. If you aren't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.